They are creating what I call an abyss. Abyss is a bottomless pit, because Ambazonia is going to get free. When God decided to get Paul Biya to pass that law which dissolved the union, God meant that Ambazonia was going to get free, and it will get free. I pity Cameroonians, because this gang of kleptomaniacs who are surrounding Paul Biya, they are not interested in the welfare of Cameroonians. Because if they are interested in the welfare of Cameroonians, they would know that if there is a forceful way of throwing Cameroon out, they will never, never again have anything to do with us. And they need us very badly for their economy. So, the message one has to give Paul Biya is this: break loose from this cocoon that is tying you down to arrogance and greed. I remember when this new social order was put out and they diffused a time bomb and so on. A French newspaper in Paris, Le Monde Diplomatique, came out with an article. That was the first time somebody wrote La République d'Ambazonie. It was there. If you go to Library of Congress, go to the legal section. Don't go for newspapers. That Le Monde Diplomatique is such an important paper in France that even in Library of Congress they put it in the library for judicial. It is Le Monde that used to put up government and bring them down in the Fourth Republic. That paper came out and said that they forecast the establishment of the Republic of Ambazonia interposed between Nigeria and Cameroon. And the man was so, the paper became very spiritual in saying that the ancien bâtonnier, that is the president of Cameroon Bar, that's myself, is addressing Paul Biya like Joseph the Dreamer was addressing Pharaoh. What did Joseph the Dreamer tell Pharaoh about the catastrophe that is going to happen to Egypt? Now, the difference between the Pharaoh and Paul Biya is that Pharaoh so loved his people, the Egyptians, that he was prepared to surrender all his powers to a slave prisoner to bring salvation to his people. What will Paul Biya ever think of that? As far as he's concerned, the rest of Cameroon can go to hell. But maybe we are dealing with a God of miracles. It may somehow send a spirit to turn Paul Biya's head and say, look, respond to this matter in a spiritual fashion, like Pharaoh responded to Joseph the Dreamer. I was surprised to see this French Paris newspaper putting it out like that. I just asked myself, that's May 1986. I said, can you imagine? These people are now dealing with this matter from a spiritual realm, which is what I have been dealing with. We hope that the Spirit of God will be injected to Paul Biya to discard himself of this clique of thieves who say they are the best people for him, and Paul Biya will look out and get some wisdom from God and say, look, let's sort this out without any problems, because the alternative is going to be too ghastly for the people of Cameroon. They need us much more than we need them. And peace between us will create a bridge, 4-lane bridge across the Mongo. But a fight will create, instead of a 4-lane bridge of love, a fight will create an abyss of hate between our two people. And I hope that never happens.
I have one question to ask you. In the United States, our lawyers here always go for what they call the deep pocket, meaning that if you are, for example, an employee of a company and you go out there with even the least authority or the least support of that company for whatever thing you do out there that's at fault, or meaning that if you were, say you were driving a company vehicle, it's not even authorized by the company to drive that vehicle,
Yeah.
and you go and crash and kill somebody or crush a family,
Yeah.
they will not really be coming after you as an individual because you don't have money.
No.
But because you're driving a company vehicle, they will go.
I don't understand what
they'll go for the
vicarious
Jeep
liability.
pocket.
They call it vicarious liability.
Right.
Company is vicariously liable for the thoughts of its servant, even if it's going on a frolic.
Right. Now,
Yes.
my question to you is: La Republique was created, has been governed, continuously governed, and defended abroad by France.
Yes.
How is France culpable in this whole illegality that's going on, which you are trying to address? What is France's responsibility there? Because France is obviously benefiting, and what are France's liability? Or I guess you get on. I think you understand my question.
Yes. You see, the French liability, if at all there is any, is not that which you can pin down in black and white. There is nothing that stops Paul Biya or Cameroon government to stop them from doing things which an independent country like small Gambia can do without having to get clearance from Britain. But these people, French colonialism colonizes the psyche, the mind. And you say you are independent, but you dare do nothing without clearance from Champs-Élysées. But there's nothing there in black and white that you must get clearance from Champs-Élysées.
No, the cooperation agreements which make them operate in partnership.
Yes, cooperation agreement. There are countries that have cooperation agreements. It doesn't stop you from sacking a minister or appointing a minister until you get a clearance from Paris. I think you understand. My position is this. France will say, oh, Cameroon is an independent country.
Is it?
Yes. France will say it's an independent country. It has a seat in the United Nations. Everywhere they are doing their things independently. Recently, Paul Biya went to have a dinner with George Bush to show you that he's independent. But we know that there's more more than that meets the eye. Paul Biya will not dare cut a T or dot an I if it's going to get him trouble with France. That's why George Bush has he visited any African country, any francophone country except Senegal, and they didn't go. Where did they go? They went to the place for slaves.
Gorji.
Yeah? Yes. That was an excuse. Because if you had just visited that country like that, France will say, oh, you are with George Bush against us. The next minute, it is their security system is linked to the French Red Hand. You won't hear that the president has had an accident in an air accident. So you see these people sitting down there. The only independence they have is the flag and the anthem. The substance of independence is in Paris. How can you have an economy when you do not control the currency you use? Your currency is valued, revalued, and devalued from Paris. So where is the independence you have? So France is there, right? But you can't pin France down to say France is responsible. But you know that when you come and attack La République de Cameroun, you know that you are attacking France. Because they are going to call on France to come as an ally under the Franco-Cameroon cooperation agreement. It is that alliance that was fighting Nigeria. The French Navy moved right up to Calabar, to Douala. I have pictures of the French Navy where the French naval chief was asked. He said if he's given permission, he can recover Bakassi within a couple of hours. Right? Then there were the French paratroopers who came to Cameroon. So there is that alliance between them. So to say one can hold something against France, you've got to be. We are strictly technical, strictly legalistic. It must be something you can hold against France, which anybody, a court of law, can say you have a case against France, but you can't have any case here.
Well, basically, what you just told me is that there is a fraud being perpetuated there, and that fraud gives cover for France to benefit, but not to bear liability.
Right.
And I'm thinking that
right.
in the United States we are able to make those connections and prove, because sometimes it's not just what the law says, but it's also what it is. That
is the United States. If we were taking a case like this before the United States, you never can say what is going to happen tomorrow if what we are doing here gives us the opportunity to take up a thing like that. And there are people suggesting that France will be in, because the United States know how to link up, because you are getting the benefit. You cannot be saying you don't take liabilities for it. Responsibilities go with you are having benefits. You must carry the responsibilities. So, if it was in America, yes. If we were filing this case before an American court, we would implead France as a co-defendant, because the oil is being sold by France. We are not even in OPEC. France is selling our oil for us, and though America buys about 80% of the oil, they pay to France. They're not happy doing that, but it is France that is selling our oil. That is it.
Okay, so in effect, there is a possibility that the dollar amount that you claim in the last mandate there,
yeah,
as they add up, they're adding up for France also. There is a possibility.
There's a possibility if Britain, if Paul Biya has the sense to serve a third-party notice on France, that we chop this thing together, and you chop the bigger part of it. You come and contribute. You see what I mean? But with anybody, Paul Biya dare that. You can't. When they see anything that is France, they tremble like this. And that's the mentality of the Francophone. I remember when we were trying to harmonize the legal system, we will analyze something that we should do for our two systems. You hear this, our colleagues on the other side say, no, ça c'est pas fait en France. We are talking about Cameroon. He said, no, this is not done in France. So if it's not done in France, we can't do it for our country. No. When they come to one, we tell them that this is incorrect. So they say, no, that's what happens in France. So it is here. The Francophone here is colonized. The Anglophone is colonized in that it's property. The British colonialism counts for your property and leaves your brains. They take your property, and if you say, get out, independence, you say, all right, here's your independence. You stay with your tradition, with your thinking, and so on. Do you remember when independence came? It is from us that he learned how to wear even agbada. For him, dressing had meant a tie. You've got to be French in order to look civilized. That is the mentality of the Francophone. You have got to be French. The more French you are, the more civilized you are. Nothing which is African is considered as civilization. No. So this is the difference we have with those brothers there, that they have a mentality that is tied up in Paris. It will never be loosened from there.